What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our week 2 battle in the WSSS. Today we're taking on the Adelaide Aggrons. There we go. So many times I've said the Adelaide Aggrons or the Austin Aggrons. So that is the team coached by the PICHU Bros. And pretty psyched about this battle because we already had our MPCC battle. He won that. And I wanna tie up the series. The scoreboard, I guess. But he is one of the most frustrating teams to build against. That mostly being just a big part of his fire, water, grass, fairy, dragon, steel core, I guess. That's all constructed within 3 months of his team. So that was something really annoying to build with against and try to figure it out. But I did my best and sort of came up with something that I felt like that could really win the match, especially with the 6 months that he brought in today. I thought I had a really good chance for that. So I have the Mega Blastoise, who is Dragon Pulse, pretty much my main Charizard X switch-in. I can take one Thunder Punch relatively well, even at +1 from the Charizard X, which I'm fully expecting him to bring. If he brings Outrage, I can still take that. Flare Blitz, that's even awesomer. That's a word, totally a word. Roserade's meant to deal with Tapu Fini and Ferrothorns, and since he doesn't have Ferrothorn here, its main job is to deal with the Tapu Fini. If we can get that going on, that's awesome. We've got the Mew, who is just my secondary way of getting rid of his setup. A lot of his team requires a lot of setup and particular matchups, so if I can get that going on, that would be awesome. Then we've got the Zygarde over here, who is just pretty much Choice Band. It does a lot of damage in case things like Dugtrio, Scolipede, or even X-Cloud get out of hand and they have a bit of chip damage. This mon can actually get the pick up the KO and sort of finish it off over there. We've got the Buzzwole Beast Boost. If we can get that going on, that would be awesome too. Once more with the Choice Scarf. A lot of his team doesn't appreciate any damage from Buzzwole. Buzzwole does so much damage, so yeah, hopefully we can get that going on. I think it doesn't have Stone Edge because I figured, you know what, I don't think I need it. And yeah, sort of looking back into this, yeah, Stone Edge would have been really nice. And then we finally got Sylveon because I was afraid of especially offensive Zapdos, Specs, Tapu Fini, and the X-Cloud. So glad to see those 3 things are there because you did prep for it, and that's always good when you see things that are out there and you prepped for. So let's get started into this battle. I figured Buzzwole would be a really awesome switch. Awesome lead. Ends up it's not. That is not the ideal situation I want to be in. I should have just gone with my gut and gone to Zygarde or even just Mew, gone with the game plan. But I say that this is especially offensive Zapdos because that doesn't do quite a bit. It does a lot, but it's still not a lot in terms of damage I was really expecting. So that means Buzzwole can actually come in and actually put in a decent amount of work, and it's a lot less pressure on Buzzwole, especially when we can fire off poison jabs all day. So I'm just going to switch into my designated, switching into this mon. Of course, I do have the boosts and whatnot. So now he's just going to go for Thunder Punch. Like I said, this is all in the game plan. I'm just going to go for the Dragon Pulse, take out this Charizard X. Biggest threat of his team is gone now, as he's just going to go into Thunder Burp. Good switch in on his part, but I do have Lemonade, and Lemonade can easily eat up the hit as he goes for an aggressive play, goes for the Volt Switch. Looking back at this, maybe I should have just gone to Zygarde. Going even for like 1,000 arrows, I could have done a lot of damage to this Zapdos and put a lot of pressure on his team. So he's going to set up Stealth Rocks. I'm going to pause it over here because this was sort of a big point of the match because A, he could have just gone for Earthquake, or B, Stealth Rocks. And there's a lot of situations that could have happened, and this perhaps was a bigger 50-50 than what the replay makes it to be. So the 50-50 play is if I go for a Wish, he goes for Stealth Rocks, I would immediately recover all my HP and break his stash and still have a relatively healthy Sylveon. If he goes for Stealth Rocks and I go for Protect, he gets free Stealth Rocks and could potentially take me down. And if I go for Protect and he goes for Earthquake, even then it's still a roll, because then it becomes a roll for the Earthquake to take me down. So there's a lot of situations over here where I could potentially come out with a better hand. So I lose this 50-50 draw. He gets free Stealth Rocks, and the Protect is pretty much useless. Nothing happens at this point. So now I have to go for another Protect and hopefully fish out a double. I was sort of curious too if Protect would not fail at this time if Stealth Rocks go on my side of the field. So good play on his part for playing a bit more aggressive. or playing aggressive at the right point, and he does get the roll on the Earthquake, so unfortunately we'll lose Sylveon, but this is where I make a bad switch. This is where I sort of choke, like call 911, because we need some Heinlein maneuvers or something, or get that first aid person in here, because I'm choking the game away. Roserade was not the switch-in. This is my switch-in to Tapu Fini, and you're gonna see why, because this Earthquake does so much damage. This isn't worth it. Of course he sashed. I figured he would have been sashed. And yeah, so I'm just gonna lose Edward Flower Hands over here, and that sucks because that's my Tapu Fini switch in. Tapu Fini would have done nothing if I just kept that. And then once again, some more. This is in a spam of 3 turns. Yeah, a spam of 3 turns. This is where it really goes down south. Oh, there we go. It goes down south because let me talk about the thought process here about what Dugtrio did. And it's not because there's a lot of situations where you're like, oh yeah, that Pokemon put in a lot of work because it has this and yada yada yada. This is where it became where I let Dugtrio put in a lot of work, and where it sort of became like really apparent where I shouldn't have let Dugtrio put in a lot of work, because I lost Sylveon. Sylveon could have gone down. It was a 50-50. I lost a 50-50 there, and that sucked. But then sending out Roserade to do that was a bad play on my part. That was really bad, because I lost one Mon absolutely for nothing when I had a whole bunch of other Mons for free, where I could have set up Stealth Rocks. I could have done a lot more stuff than what I just did, and that's what really cost me a lot of momentum in this battle. And then the third thing, like I said, in a span of 3 turns, it went bad. I did not speed creep the Dugtrio. I am Choice Scarfed Buzzwole, and that's where it was really apparent, where I just sort of, like, in terms of prep, it was bad, but in terms of execution, it was even worse. And when you have those two put together, it's not a good time. So I took a lot of unnecessary damage. Dugtrio put in a lot of work because I let it put in a lot of work, and I put myself in a situation where I didn't have to let Dugtrio put in a lot of work. So that's rather unfortunate. I can still potentially win the match, but I have to get a bit lucky, and that's pretty much the name of the game at this point. Can I get it sort of lucky? I ran the calculations. This is not a guaranteed KO, so I have to switch out, go into Mew, as he ends up going for a Volt Switch. Pretty gutsy play on his part, because there's a lot of ways I can potentially come in, but hey, what can you do? As he's just going to go for the Mega Horn. I'm going to set up my Stealth Rocks. He does miss. A bit unfortunate on his part, but that is the chance of Mega Horn. Ultimately, it gave me a better chance of winning the battle, and so if it potentially gave me a better chance of winning the battle and potentially pulling me back into this. So that was sort of unfortunate in that part, but like I said before, I put myself in a bad situation when I sacked off potentially 3 Mons, and yeah, it's just bad. So I'm just gonna go right into Zygarde, and he's gonna go into DJ Splouty. So I ran the calculations on this, and there is a 12.5% chance I take this thing down with 1,000 arrows. A Choice Bandit, 1,000 arrows will potentially take this thing down. If I do take it down, it's pretty big if I can. So we're gonna go for it, and he lives on 1%. Bit unfortunate, but it was in a roll in my favor, so I can't get upset about that. So all I have to do now is just go into Zygarde. I gotta press Extreme Speed because that is the only play right now for myself. Yeah, it's the only play I can do right now. So at this moment, I'm looking pretty bad. So all I have to do for this is I just gotta go for Extreme Speed. I know it's gonna be a 2 KO with Moonblast, as you can tell over here, and pretty much this is where I was talking about having Stone Edge would have been huge, because Stone Edge takes out Tapu Fini at this range. I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. But ultimately, I have to go for the Poison Jab, because Poison Jab is the only way that I do win. Because even when Zapdos comes in, it's at 71%, so that puts it out of roll for the Poison Jab. what sort of set this goal feed is and how bulky Buzzball is, I could potentially take a couple hits from Scolipede, so that one is a bit of a roll. I'm not too sure about that one. I'm gonna have to double check. And that's what it is, I guess, too. So I'm like, alright, Buzzball, time for the boost. And he has the goodbye there. And unfortunately we'll lose 3-0 to the Adelaide Aggrons. And yeah, GG to the PICHU Bros. It wasn't like he played incredible or good, it was just that I played pretty bad. Like I can't take away that he played ballsy and made the moves that he had to make. He didn't put himself in situations where he didn't have to be, but yeah, it wasn't a great game from either side. There wasn't like crazy predictions. There wasn't really like, oh, this happened and he made it switch into this. So yeah, it was a weird game. It was a weird game looking back at it now. Lots of mistakes on both ends. Lots of mistakes on my end. And yeah, that put us at +3 at 1-1. Yeah, sort of disappointing because I don't know. I really want to have a good game with the PICHU Bros, and I felt like I still haven't had that yet. So hopefully we'll meet sometime in the playoffs. Hopefully we both make the playoffs, and we'll move on to next week with better hopes, I guess, or better hopes or something like that. And I'll keep it going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll catch you guys next week.